Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, it's Tim here again from Super Mayhem. Ow! And boy howdy, do we have some fun for you today. We've hacked Mario games, Kirby games, heck, even recently the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got their fair share of wacky hacking goodness. So what are we going to tackle today? Well, I thought the 1986 classic Metroid for the NES might be a good bet. So what do you think? Are you a fan of this game and or its subsequent series? Why not smash a like for the love of Samus, hit subscribe and ring the bell if you are new to the channel, and let's dive deeply into the planet Zebes as we attempt to hack the nostalgic platformer that is Metroid. I should also probably note I've always been a pretty bad player of this game, so even with hacks, well, I'm still pretty bad. So with that said, let's go! Before we jump too far into the world of game genieing, I thought we might take a moment to appreciate that there are actually different endings to the game. This was a pretty forward-thinking move by Nintendo, as it's something that many other games would adopt in the future. So just quickly, here is an overview of the 5 different endings and how to get them. But make sure you stick around for the Game Genie cheats though, you won't want to miss them. For the worst ending, you have to beat the game in 10 plus hours or 5 plus hours as suitless Samus. With this ending, a suited Samus will be looking away. The second worst ending is for between 5 and 10 hours, which just has a suited Samus. The middle ending, which is 3 to 5 hours completion time, has Samus with her helmet taken off. The second best ending is 1 to 3 hours, with the suitless Samus unlock, plus suitless Samus in a leotard waving. And the best ending happens when you beat the game in under 1 hour, which has suitless Samus in a bikini waving. For many players, this was the first time they realised that Samus was actually a female. This may seem pretty standard these days, but for the time having a female protagonist was also pretty forward thinking. So GG Nintendo, GG. I should also mention that if you are able to beat the game in under 2 hours, then at the password screen you just press start and you'll be able to play the game as a suitless Samus. So that's a pretty neat incentive to crush the game. For me though, I have to rely on cheats to get that far. The Western release of Metroid is also well known for its password system, which was also pretty new to the gaming industry at the time. I won't go into all of them, but a few classic / well-known or interesting passwords are as follows. Justin Bailey. It claims that we have all the things and more. This password must be all in caps and then lines filling up the bottom of the password. With this entered, you will start on the last level as suitless Samus and have all items except the ice beam. You will still lose health though, and you don't have unlimited items, but it's still a cool cheat if you want to do some exploring of the final depths of Zebes. Nappa's Sword. Any major Metroid enthusiast will probably already know this password, but I have to include it because it's so great. With this one you will start at the beginning of the game with unlimited life, unlimited missiles, and all the upgrades, baby! The energy meter is a bit funny. You can technically lose health, but when you hit another enemy it seems to come back, at least in some cases. In my quick play with this password, I found it impossible to die, so that has to say something about this magnificent password. It's really fun to play around with, especially if you are like me and not very good at the game, but still want to see what you can acquire if you played it through. This next one is a bit of garbled nonsense, so I'll just put it on the screen. But if you just want to see arguably the best ending in Metroid, with a suitless bikini wearing Samus, then this password is for you, as it's meant to start you off at the ending screen. However, I think I landed in one of the final levels with all weapons. Since I'm a major noob at this game, I wasn't sure whether to go up or down, so I got eaten by a Metroid one way, and kinda died the other way. It's a neat code though, and you should definitely check it out. This second and last password is also a bit of a garbled mess, so I'll just put it up on the screen for you, but this one lets you fight Ridley if you're good enough to get to him, which is kinda cool. You also start with missiles and a few different weapons, but I'm actually pretty bad at this game in case the footage doesn't demonstrate that. Of course, the actual number of passwords is pretty much limitless, as you get one each time you die in the game, but these were a few that stand out and people have shared online. One could dedicate an entire video just to passwords, but I just wanted to showcase a few. Anyway, with those passwords done, it's on to the actual game genieing, I think. And lucky for us, there are actually a ton of different codes that let us do all kinds of wacky things. So let's start off quickly with the default Game Genie codes from the booklet, shall we? I didn't record all of these as I spent more time on the more interesting codes, but the full default list is as follows. If you want to limit your minimum energy rather than having infinite energy, you can also try the code SXSGNVSE, which sets your minimum energy to 30. I'm not sure exactly why you would want to do this at exactly 30, probably because it's your base energy, but hey, it's a code and it's kinda cool since you can't die. Much like in the password system code mentioned earlier, your energy will fluctuate up and down as you hit enemies, so it's a bit odd. SZUILUVK will give you infinite rockets on pickup. ZENSXLIE will gain 10 rockets on pickup. YENSXLIE will have you gain 15 rockets on pickup. YAXGVPLA starts you off with extra energy. When I tried it gave me 70 health, so it's pretty good but not the best code in the world. It just gives you a nice boost at the start of the game. So these codes are pretty cool and all in their own right, but there are some fan discovered ones that are even better, or at least more game altering. A pretty sweet code is ALLGKP, which starts you off in the game with all of the items including the ice beam, as well as infinite energy and even missiles. Not bad, hey? If you're wanting a simple code that will let you cruise through the game, then this is definitely the one for you. Again, I should have saved the best till last, but this code is super helpful and probably my favourite of the Game Genie codes. If the game seems too slow for you, then you can try the Game Genie code EENTPU, which sets you up for fast speed mode, and man do you motor around. You can even outrun friggin' bullets! If this is too much like Sonic for you, or you just want to slow things down completely, then try the opposite code, that is EENTAU, which puts you into slow speed mode. You might think that this would make it easier to get past those pesky enemies, however they still move at regular speed. It is only Samus that seems to have acquired the snail ability, as it is almost painful to play the game with this code. Maybe it's something speedrunners could try and utilise? I'd hate to see the completion time though. Another interesting cheat is LLLVSV, which is supposedly meant to put bombs where balls should be for some reason. However, when I used this code and went to the left to get the morph ball, if that makes sense, the game reverted back to the starting screen and made it impossible to progress in the game. Game Genie codes can get pretty wacky, and this is just that. Now we are going to move on to some rather interesting graphic related codes that someone named Severed Majestic discovered, so many props to them and their hard work. These are great fun as they do all kinds of weird and wonderful things to the game, so stick around for these bad boys. A good starting point is AOPEPS. This code puts you into a weird frozen kind of front flip position when you aim upwards. It's kind of odd because you're facing down like you're about to do a cannonball, but don't worry, you can still shoot upwards with this cheat. If you just change the first letter of the previous code, you can get some different interesting results, such as GOPEPS. This one, when you aim up, you turn into your morph ball. This is weird enough, but when you push the D-pad another time, you will actually dig into the ground. It's a super weird cheat, especially since you can dig off the screen. If you dig in the wrong spot, your energy will deplete and you will eventually die. However, in the third room, I was able to go through the floor to what I think is part of the game you aren't meant to reach yet. When I got all the way to the bottom, I just went through the floor until I came back down from the top. I was stuck in the ground, but I didn't die. It's the little wins that count. Hey, fancy shooting out of your butt when holding up on the D-pad? Well, with the code POPEPS, you can just do that. I'm not entirely sure why you would want to, but at least you can, right? If you want to completely screw up levels, then the Game Genie code LUSTNN will help you do that. I only tested this out on the first level, so I can't say how it will affect the later levels, but it's definitely a change from the normal play of Metroid. Once you get the morph ball, you get stuck because the level is all wacky. In fact, I couldn't even get past the second room because bits of the level were all over the place. This may behave differently on your version of the game though, so be sure to give it a go. Similar to the previous code, EATTUN is another odd level screw up code. When using this cheat code, the level kind of half disappears and is gone. Good luck playing the game like this. You can fall through the floor, lose a bit of health, and then fall from the sky when getting the morph ball. When going right, you can kinda land on the non-existent floor, again losing health, and jump off it again, so the game may actually be possible to beat, but I kinda doubt it unless you combined it with the infinite energy hack. There are some further cheats that will help you with the game. For example, the code PIPEPS will cause most enemies to freeze in their positions. I'd like to say this makes the game a fair bit easier to play, but as the enemies can be frozen in the path you need to take, it can still be a problem. There is actually a similar but better code to this that is KISTOL, which either makes monsters/enemies completely gone or weirdly stuck in the floor. I still somehow managed to die, but it's a fun code to try yourself, as you never know what will happen. AGLISS is another neat cheat if you want to make the game a bit easier. When you kill enemies, they will become energy tanks that give you 20 health. This was really fun and helped me get through a lot of the game that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. Anyway, that's it for today, friends. I really hope you enjoyed hacking Metroid on the NES with me. If you did, then don't forget to smash a big fat like on this so other Metroid fans can see it too. Subscribe if you are new and ring the bell, and as always, a huge thank you to Jacob Clark for being our longtime Patreon supporter. If you want to be as cool as Jake and help out the mayhem, then check out the link to our Patreon page in the description below, and pledge as much or as little as you can to help us keep rocking out this awesome content. Anyway, that's it for today, friends, and I'll catch you soon.